पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. Pranams everyone. We are in the fourth chapter, Sloka number 34. Shri Bhagavān uvacha Tad-viddhi pranipātena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnāninas-tattva-darshinah. So this sloka, Bhagavān talks about both the guru as well as the shishya's qualification. How should the guru be and how should the shishya be for receiving and giving the knowledge. In the previous sloka, if you remember, sloka number 33, Bhagavān said, Sarvam karma kilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Jnana is the way to moksha. Jnana is the only way to moksha. Final step to attain moksha is jnana. And therefore, to attain that jnana, what must one do is given in this sloka. And in the last class, we saw the Shishya Lakshana completely. We saw Tad-viddhi, to know that knowledge, a Shishya must gain this knowledge by Pranipātena. Pranipātena we saw by prostration, by namaskara. In other words, the Shishya must have humility. Then Pariprashnena. Pariprashnena means he has to inquire, he has to ask. And to ask, one must actually surrender the ahankara. One must ask that question, surrender the ahankara. The problem for us is most of the times what happens is we always have this feeling that our intellect is good enough to understand this world. We do not need any help from anyone. So that ahankara must be reduced. We must let go of that ahankara. And then sevaya. Sevaya is to perform seva, service to the guru. And this is for two reasons. One, to actually reduce our likes and dislikes, thereby removing the impurities of our mind. The other is to actually develop shraddha. So these are the qualifications of a shishya. And then we saw about for the guru, upadekshanti te jnanam. The guru will impart this knowledge to you. And the Guru Lakshana is given in the last two words. Jnāninas-tattva-darshinah. Bhagavan gives two Lakshanas. Jnāninas-tattva-darshinah. We saw what is Jnāninah. Jnāninah means one who has listened to this Brahma Tattva, one who has gone through this teaching properly, one who has listened about Atma through the Sampradaya Gurus. And he is not a self-made guru. He should be a guru who should have had a guru for that. He should have been a shishya to another guru. Then we saw brahma-niṣṭha. Tattva-darshinah means brahma-niṣṭha. So not only must have he understood, he must be established in Brahman. So one who has all the qualifications, sadhana chatushtayam, one who has done shravana manana nididhyasana, one who is able to use this knowledge when needed. So when somebody criticizes him, when somebody humiliates him, he is able to not get affected. He is able to handle them without retaliation. Then he is a brahma-niṣṭha. Even if there is a slip, he is able to come back to normalcy quickly. Brahma-niṣṭha. So most of the gurus today, most of them would have are śrotriya, definitely. Most of them would have learned through the parampara, sampradaya gurus, but may not have become brahma-niṣṭha yet. So therefore, gurus can be classified into three types. One is śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha. Śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha is a guru who is śrotriya as well as brahma-niṣṭha. In the sense, one who has learned this knowledge and also be established in that knowledge. The advantage of this type of guru is that he can teach the Shishya properly, because he has taught through a tradition. He has learned it through a tradition, and he will be able to impart in the same manner. And he has also gone through the steps one by one, and therefore he will be able to explain this clearly. So he is considered to be an Uttama Guru. So śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha is the Uttama Guru. This is the first type of Guru, if we classify the Gurus. Then the second is kevala śrotriya. When we say kevala, we should not take it in the Tamil word of kevalam. Here kevala means only. Only. Kevala means only. See, he is a śrotriya Guru only. In the sense, he is a śrotriya Guru but has not attained brahma-niṣṭha. In the sense, he has listened to the teaching properly, and therefore he will be able to teach this properly also. His words are our teaching, not his life. He will be able to teach properly because he has learnt it properly, and therefore he will also be able to direct the students properly. He will be able to give the correct roadmap, but he is not a brahma-niṣṭha himself. So this is kevala śrotriya Guru. Then we have kevala brahma-niṣṭha. Kevala brahma-niṣṭha means he is a brahma-niṣṭha but has not done any śrotriya. In the sense, he has not studied under a guru himself. Now there could be a question, how could he have been a brahma-niṣṭha without listening to the shastras? Now the answer is, it could be that he has got this knowledge as a śrotriya in his previous janmas. And in this janma, basically he could have done some sadhanas, and with the help of some mahavakya words spoken by someone, because he had already done all the karma yoga, upasana yoga, he had attained the chitta shuddhi already in his previous lives. What was required was that single small, the last straw that is needed for him to attain jnana. And therefore he would have been able to get that mahavakya vichara and be able to attain atma jnana and be established as a brahma-niṣṭha. So he may not have gone to the guru to study the shastras in this janma, but because of the tapas that he had accumulated over the previous janma, when we say tapas, all the sadhanas, karma yoga, upasana yoga, even Shravana Mananam, he would have done it in his previous janmas, he is able to get this jnana. So in terms of spiritual level, if we are talking about, so these are the three types of gurus. So śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha, kevala śrotriya Guru, and kevala brahma-niṣṭha Guru. Now at a spiritual level, if we look at it, both these śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha as well as the kevala brahma-niṣṭha, at the spiritual level, both of them are one and the same. Both are uttama purushaha, because both are tattvadarshi. They are able to see the world as it is. They are able to see the world as Brahman. And therefore both are equal to Ishvara. A jnani is equal to Ishvara. So both are equal to Ishvara. Who? Śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha as well as kevala brahma-niṣṭha. But when we talk about gurus, śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha is a uttama guru. And kevala brahma-niṣṭha is not an uttama guru. Only the śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha is a uttama guru, not the kevala brahma-niṣṭha. Why do we say that? Because if we go to a kevala brahma-niṣṭha guru and we tell him that my mind is not okay, he will only say, where is the mind? There is no mind. There is only Atman. And his answers will be at a very high level. That is because he is in that level. And therefore, his words may be helpful, but only for those people who are at a high level of spiritual maturity. The student must also be at a very high level of spiritual maturity to be able to understand the Guru's words. And therefore, that kevala brahma-niṣṭha may not be the right guru for ordinary people. For example, if you look at Ramana Maharishi's teachings, Ramana Maharishi is an example of kevala brahma-niṣṭha. He did not study from any guru in this life. He attained Jnana at a very young age on his own, so to speak, because he had got a out-of-body experience, and he was able to know the entire philosophy himself. But if you look at his teachings, it would be at a very high level. Only if we have been able to do all those sadhanas and get to that level, only if we are able to do all the sadhanas and get to that level, we will be able to understand his teaching well. So, a kevala brahma-niṣṭha cannot be a proper guru. Not that his upadesha will be wrong. Not that his upadeshas will be perfect, will be correct, and he would be telling what is there. But his teachings may not be structured, and his teachings may be at a level that not everybody would be able to understand. He would not be able to go step by step because he himself had not gone through the steps in this life. So he would not be able to clearly articulate that. We can go to him for getting blessings, asirvadams, but if we have to understand, if we have to learn Vedanta, then we will have to either go to a śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha guru or a kevala śrotriya guru. So, kevala śrotriya or śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha. Now, if you see, there will be an obstacle for a Sishya who goes to a kevala śrotriya guru also. A kevala śrotriya guru is a person who has learnt Vedanta properly through the Sampradaya. He is able to explain Vedanta properly, but he himself, he has got the Jnana, but he has not been able to establish himself in that Jnana-Niṣṭha yet. And a question may arise, how can a person who is not able to attain Jnana-Niṣṭha, how can he not be established in Jnana-Niṣṭha if he has studied Vedanta properly? And that is because that person would not have reached the full adhikaratvam. He would not have got the full qualifications. He might be lacking in some aspects of sadhana chatushtayam. I hope you know what is sadhana chatushtayam. Sadhana chatushtayam is vivekam, vairagyam, mumukshutvam, samadhi, satka, sampatti. So total of 9 qualifications are needed. But having said that, the kevala śrotriya guru will be able to teach in a proper structured manner. And therefore, no Shishya will be misled by his teachings. The Shishya will be safe. He will be taken step by step. But the problem is that person, the kevala śrotriya guru, will not be able to exhibit a Jnana-Niṣṭha's values, because he may not have shamaha, damaha, some of the sadhana chatushtaya qualifications, sadhana chatushtayam, some of the sadhana chatushtaya. So this is the problem for a Shishya when he goes to a kevala śrotriya guru. And what happens if the Shishya goes to a kevala brahma-niṣṭha guru? Remember, kevala brahma-niṣṭha guru has not learnt the Vedānta Shastra step by step. And he has attained Jnana through the tapas of Purva Janma and by listening to Mahavakyam in this life. So therefore, the kevala brahma-niṣṭha may not be able to give a step by step structured method of teaching. He would be in the last stage. So all his answers would be at a very high level. He's what we call as a spiritual genius. That's why we know these geniuses. For example, we even in mathematics, right? We say Ramanujam was a spiritual mathematical genius. Ramanujam was able to give answers to many of the unsolved problems in mathematics during his life. But the problem was that he was not able to give the steps to arrive at those solutions. He gave the final step, he gave the answer, but he was not able to come up with the steps. So those are all geniuses. For example, if we go to a kevala brahma-niṣṭha guru, he might say there is no need for rituals, there is no need for shastras. He might say there is no need for even a guru. He will say just go and do vichara, sit, summa iru, you will be able to realize on your own. There is truth in it, but this is not for all Sishyas. And Sishyas are at different levels. If we are already in that stage of spiritual maturity, where we do not need shastras, where we do not need rituals, then it's fine. But most of us, we require all these. So these are the shortcomings of a stotriya, kevala stotriya guru and a kevala brahma-niṣṭha guru. Now these shortcomings will not be there in a stotriya brahma-niṣṭha guru. Because for a stotriya brahma-niṣṭha guru, he will be able to give step-by-step teaching, and he will also be able to exhibit the Jnana Lakshanas. So both his words as well as his life will be the teaching for a Shishya. So to summarize, if we have to grade the gurus, then the first is stotriya brahma-niṣṭha guru. Then stotriya guru. The brahma-niṣṭha guru cannot be a proper Vedānta guru. He can be an inspiration, but he cannot be a teacher. But remember, as a person, in terms of spirituality, the stotriya brahma-niṣṭha guru, the stotriya brahma-niṣṭha and the kevala brahma-niṣṭha, they are equal. Both are Brahma Swarupa, both are Jnana-Niṣṭhas, both are Mahatmas, both are equal to Ishvara. But when it comes to teaching, it is better to go to a kevala stotra guru rather than to a kevala brahma-niṣṭha guru. So here Bhagavan says a guru must be śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha. Through the words jnāniнаḥ tattva-darshinaḥ. And they will upadekshyanti, they will impart what? Upadekshyanti te jnanam, they will impart that knowledge to you. So tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva-darshinaḥ. So Bhagavan says, may you gain that knowledge by prostration or humility, by service, and by proper inquiry. The wise sages, the jnāninaḥ tattva-darshinaḥ, the śrotriya brahma-niṣṭha guru will impart that knowledge to you. So this is how one must seek this knowledge. Now, this is the same mentioned in Mundaka Upanishad also. So as I said, we say, the entire Bhagavad Gita is from Upanishads only. Bhagavan has not given, and he himself says clearly that I am not giving this knowledge from my intellect. It is from the Vedas. It is from the Upanishads. So in Mundaka Upanishad there is a mantra, tad vijñārtam sa gurumeva abhigachet samitpanihi stotriyam brahma-niṣṭam. In Mundaka Upanishad it says tad vijñārtam. Tad vijñārtam means for the sake of realization, for the sake of realizing the ultimate knowledge, which is Brahman. Tad vijñārtam. This is tad vijñārtam means for the sake of realizing the ultimate knowledge, which means what? It can be taken as pariprashnena, for seeking this knowledge. Pariprashnena means inquiry. Sa gurum abhigachet. Sa gurum eva abhigachet. One must approach our guru only. You cannot learn it on your own. Sa gurum eva abhigachet. One must approach a guru. Samitpanihi. It says samitpanihi means carrying that samit stick. Carrying that samit stick is a sign of humility and readiness to do service. So basically a sign of humility as well as to do service, which means pranipatena sevaya, which is the same as pranipatena sevaya. So pariprashnena pranipatena sevaya. So what should be? Stotriyam brahma-niṣṭam. The guru must be well versed in the scriptures, stotriyam, and brahma-niṣṭam. He should be firmly established in Brahman, in Atma. So this is the same as what is being given in the Mundaka Upanishad mantra also, this one. Sarvopanishado gavo, we say. Dogda Gopala Nandanaha. So this, the entire, when we chant the initial slokas for this one, we say this Bhagavad Gita is nothing but the essence of Upanishad. So that is the sloka number 34. Now we'll go to sloka number 35. Yajñātvāna punar moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhūtānyasheshena drakṣasyātmanyatho mayi. Yajñātvāna punar moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhūtānyasheshena drakṣasyātmanyatho mayi. So from sloka 35 to 37, 35, 36, 37, 3 slokas, Bhagavan gives the Jnāna-Phalam. Jnāna-Phalam is described. Remember what this chapter is about? Jnana Karma Sannyasa. And through Jnana Karma Sannyasa, one attains Atma Jnana. Bhagavan had already given in the earlier slokas. 18th sloka onwards, Bhagavan had talked about Jnana Karma Sannyasa. Now, what is the benefit of that knowledge? Bhagavan gives it here. And here, in this particular 35th shloka, so there are 3 slokas, Bhagavan gives various benefits. The 35th, this sloka is about Moha Nāśa. Moha Nāśa means removal of delusion. So Bhagavan says, by this knowledge, one removes the delusion. One is not affected by delusion. What are the different delusions that one might have? If you look at it, one delusion that we have is, in day-to-day life, we always have is this dharma, adharma, brahma. What is considered dharma? What is considered adharma? We have this delusion. We don't recognize what is dharma and what is adharma. We think what is good for us is dharma, what is bad for us is adharma. That is the general tendency for us to understand dharma and adharma. It's what I say has got deeper meaning. If we reflect on day to day on what we think we should be getting, or what is it that we should be giving to others, if we look at it, we will realize what sort of mistake we are doing. Brahma means mistake. Dharma, adharma, Brahma. The second mistake that we do is Atma, Anatma, Brahma. In the sense, mistake in recognizing what is Atma and what is Anatma. And here Bhagavan is talking about the second mistake, Atma, Anatma, Brahma. So here says, Bhagavan says, Moha Nāśa means this person is freed from Atma, Anatma, Brahma. Now, when we say mistake, now what are the mistakes that a person commits with regards to Atma? If you look at it, first of all, first mistake that we see is Atma is Advaitam, non-dual. There is only one Atma here. But we see them as multiple Atmas. We see everyone to be one Atma. That is one kind of mistake. Advitiya Atmani Anekatva Brahma. What is supposed to be only one, we see them as many. This is the first mistake. The second mistake that we do is Atma will be destroyed. Once a person dies, we take for that person is, the Atma is gone, dead, destroyed. Atmanha Nāśatva Brahma. This is the second mistake that we do. Actually, there are many mistakes that we do with regards to our Atma. These are two, the main things. And all these mistakes are called as delusion. Moham, we say. Now, what is Moham? Moham, if we have to define Moham or delusion, if we give more existence, more reality than what should be given to an object or to a person or a thing or a concept, then it is called as Moha. If we give more reality than what it should be given. This is the definition. So we will try to see through an example, we'll try to understand this. Suppose an object is not there, but it appears in our vision, and it is just an appearance. But if we take that to be ever existing, if we give that the reality, then it is called as delusion. Now in the snake rope example, typically we will come back to only the snake rope. So the delusion we talk about, it depends on how much of reality, how much of existence that we give to the snake. In Tamil we can say iruttal. Iruttal. How much of existence, how much of reality we give it to the snake. If we give the snake the status of an appearance, it is only an appearance. The snake is only an appearance. Then it is called as, then it is not considered to be delusion. In the same, he says, the rope looks like a snake, then it is not delusion. But if we say that is a snake, then it is delusion. So delusion is when we give more reality than what we are supposed to give. That is called as delusion or moha. For example, if we buy a first day first show ticket in black for a movie which is valued at 200 rupees, but we buy it for 2000 rupees, then it is delusion. That is moham. Wherever we give value to what it is more than it is worth for. So in this world, now if you look at it, there are only two things in this world. One is Atma, other one is Anatma. And when I say two things, immediately we should not jump into saying that, okay, it is now Dvaitam. There are two things, one is Atma and another one is Anatma. No. What happens is, Atma is ever existent. Atma is true. Atma is the reality. Anatma is an appearance that seemingly exists. Anatma does not have any reality. Anatma is just an appearance. Anatma does not have any existence. Anatma relies on Atma for its existence. In Tamil we say Anatma, Atmavai saarndirukkirathu, is dependent on Atma. But because it is appearing, we cannot fully negate Anatma also. And therefore we say Anatma exists in Vyavahara. It has got a transactional reality. It doesn't have absolute reality, but it has transactional reality. Now what is Moham? Moham is when we ignore the real existence, when we discount or when we disregard this real existence and take the appearance to be the one which is existing, the appearance to be the truth, then that is delusion. For example, we consider the jewelry, the bangle and the necklace to be true, but the gold, we disregard it. We do not give importance to it. We do not consider that to be a reality. Then it is moha. Similarly, if we disregard the Atma and take the Anatma to be the reality, and not only that, we give Anatma the existence principle. We take Anatma to be the existence principle. In other words, we take Anatma to be the Atma. That is called as Moha. So what Bhagavan says is that Moha will leave us will disappear once we get this Jnana. It will be gone through this Jnana. That is in the first line of the sloka. Yajñātvā na punar moham evam yasyasi pandava. Yajñātvā. Yajñātvā, yajñātvā. Jñātvā means by gaining, by knowing, or we can say here by gaining. By gaining what? Yat. Yat means that. By gaining that. What is to be gained here? Bhagavan has been talking about, remember, Jnana. Sloka 33, he talked about sarvam karma akhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. So he talks about Jnana, and then 34 he talked about how to get that knowledge, tat viddhi, gain that knowledge by. So here yat means that knowledge. So by knowing that knowledge, yajñātvā na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava. Yasyasi, na yasyasi. Na means not, you will not. Yasyasi, you will not get into. You will not get into. Evam yasyasi. Na yasyasi. Na punarmoham is there. So na yasyasi we take. So you will not get into, what you will not get into? Punaha. You will not get into again. You will not get again. What you will not get again? Moham. Punar moham. You will not get into delusion again. So by gaining that knowledge, you will not get into moham again. That is what Bhagavan says in the first line. We are in the state of delusion. Arjuna is in the state of delusion. Therefore, Bhagavan says this. Evam. Evam means in this manner. Evam means it represents the delusion that we are in now. So you will not get back into this delusion again. That is what Bhagavan says. Bhagavan agrees and clearly confirms that we are in delusion. How can Bhagavan say that we are in delusion? Because we have not got that jnana yet. Only after we get this jnana, we will be able to consider Atma as Atma, Anatma as Anatma. Until that time, we are all living in that deluded mind frame of considering Anatma to be the real, giving more reality to the Anatma, more reality to what he said, what they did, what they talked, what they did. We are only talking about that. We are giving more reality than what it's supposed to be given. What happened in the past, what will happen in the future is all Moha. Bhagavan says you will not get into that again. Na punarmoham. Pandava, O Arjuna. So Bhagavan is making it very clear here. When the jnana comes, delusion is gone. Okay, delusion is gone, but will it come back again? Bhagavan says no, it will not come back again. Once jnana comes, jnana will not leave us, and once delusion is gone, delusion also will not return back. Na yasyasi punaha. You will not get into that again. When yat jnatva, by gaining that knowledge, by gaining Atma Jnana. Another word for delusion, we can also keep it as conflict, confusion. We will not get into this confusion again. So Bhagavan is giving the benefit in the first line. The benefit is Moha Nāśa, removal of delusion. Now we keep saying this Jnana. What kind of jnana? If we had forgotten, Bhagavan says the kind of vision that this jnana will give. What kind of vision will this jnana give to a person? Bhagavan gives that in the second line. And this is an important line because it gives the jnana lakshana. We can actually try to validate whether we have this kind of vision. And if we have this vision, we have this jnana. But the more, the fact that we have to verify it itself means that we don't have that jnana yet. But what is the vision that a jnani will have? Bhagavan gives in the second line. And he says, once we have this vision, how will we see this world? Our sorrow, whatever difficulty we are facing, our sorrows, our pains, our struggles, we see it to be coming from this world. But Bhagavan says, our sorrow is not from the world. Our sorrow is from the way we see the world. The sorrows are not from the world. The sorrows is from the way we see the world. The world is not giving us sorrow. People are not giving us sorrow. The words spoken by the people are not giving us sorrow. Sorrow is due to the way we take those words. That's why sometimes when people say, I get irritated whenever I see that person, or I get irritated whenever I see this, I cannot stand this. I get angry whenever I think of them. I get angry whenever people talk about them. I get angry whenever I see that thing. The thing is, the person or the thing does not give us irritation or anger. It is our vision that makes us get irritated or angry. And if we do not like someone, we will get angry with whatever they do. And if we like someone, no matter what they do, we will not get angry. So it is not the action. It is not even that person. It is our vision. For a person whom we like, we will justify the same action. So Bhagavan says the world is not giving us sorrow. Our vision is what gives us that sorrow. And that's why the entire Shastras, if you look at the entire Shastra throughout the Bhagavad Gita so far, it is never about changing the world. It is not about changing the world. Shastra says change your vision. If you have a camera and the vision is not clear, there is no problem with the object. You just need to go to a different angle. You have to look at it from a different angle. The picture will come into vision properly. So here Bhagavan gives the vision with which we will see the world after we get this Jnana. Which Jnana? The Jnana which destroys our delusion. The Jnana that makes the delusion go away once for all. So what kind of vision we have? Yena bhutan asheshena drakṣasyatmanyato mayi. Yena bhutani asheshena drakṣasyasi atmani ato mayi. Yena means by that. Yena means by that. By that what? By that knowledge. What knowledge? Atma Jnana. By that knowledge. Bhutani asheshena. Bhutani means beings. Beings. All living things. Bhutani. Asheshena means without exception. Without exception. Bhutani means all living beings, which means humans, animals, insects, plants, everything. Without exception, without any exception. Drakṣasyasi. Drakṣyasi means you will see it. You will see Drakṣam. Drakṣyasi. How will we see them? Bhagavan says, Atmani. You will see all the beings without any exception in yourself. Atmani means in yourself. So you will see all the beings in yourself. That is the vision that you will be able to have when you have this knowledge. Will you be able to see them elsewhere? All these beings? Bhagavan says yes. You will see them again in somewhere else also. As where? Ataha mayi. You will also see them in me. As in Bhagavan, in Ishvara. So you will see all these beings without any exception, both in yourself as well as in Ishvara. Once we attain this Jnana. So through that knowledge, by that knowledge, you will see all beings without exception in yourself as well as in me. That is what Bhagavan says. Now this is the highest vision. This is the height of Jnana. The vision where we have to establish ourselves. If somebody has a vision that where everybody, they are able to see within themselves as in one, they are able to see them as self, where is the question of hatred? Where is the question of jealousy? Where is the question of fear? Only if there is another person, then I will have jealousy, comparison, hatred, attachment, fear, and all those things. There is nobody else other than me. So there is no samsara. Where is the place to get samsara there? Samsara has to come from an object. There is no other object other than me. So this is Advaita Dṛṣṭi. There is no other thing or a person or a being to get samsara from. So by that knowledge, you will see all beings without exception in yourself as well as in me. You will not get into delusion again. That is the summary or essence of this shloka. I will do a small vichara on this line. When Bhagavan says, Yena bhutani asheshena drakshyasi atmani ato mayi. Drakshyasi atmani ato mayi. We can sort of come with certain understanding from here. We can derive certain facts. When Bhagavan says, by that knowledge you will see all beings without exception in yourself, what it means is there is no jiva abheda. As in, there is no difference between one jiva and another jiva. At the fundamental level, there is no difference. As in reality, there is no difference. There is a jiva abheda only at a certain level. Vyavarika level, there is a difference. But in reality, there is no difference. Why do we say in reality there is no difference? Because in appearance there seems to be a difference. At the level of the upadhi, when we say upadhi means the body here. At the level of body there is a difference. Your body, my body is different. But at the level of Atma there is no difference. And the body has no reality. Body is anatma. Body has no reality. It's there for some days and then gone. So we'll have to ignore it. So there is no jiva bheda. In other words, there is a jiva abheda. This is the first fact that we can derive. Then second fact is, Bhagavan says, by that knowledge you will see all beings without exception in yourself. Bhagavan says, as well as in me, he says, which means basically there is jiva ishvara abheda. So here Bhagavan removes the difference between jiva and ishvara also. There is no difference between jiva and ishvara. We can quickly take an example for this one. Suppose we say we are in a dream. Now in that dream what happens? I see a world, and in that world I see people, and I see people, I see myself, I also see a tiger probably, and when I see a tiger I get emotions, I get fear, I sweat, I run. So I have emotions, I have actions, I have people, I have places, I have the self also in that dream. But when I wake up, what do I realize? I realize that all the jivas, that the people in the dream, the tiger, everything, the place, the emotions, they're all in me. There is nothing in the dream, including the emotions, all were in me only. So in the same way, we are in this Atma Jnana stage. Once we get this Atma Jnana, we will realize that all beings are only in me. Another quick example, we can say, there are multiple pots, small ones, big ones, tiny ones, everything. Now, in every pot, there is space inside every pot. The vision that we have right now is like that space inside one of the pots. Now, say the space inside in one of the pots, for example, it says, I am small. That pot space is big. And this pot space is tinier than me. I am superior to this person, but I am inferior to that pot space. Say this is how this pot space behaves. And it also says that the space outside me, outside all these pots, is huge. It is like Ishvara. That is the kind of vision that we have now. But once this pot space realizes that it is nothing but space, The other pot is also space. And the space outside the pots is also space. And there is no fundamental difference actually. And that all space are one. And just that from the Upadhi standpoint, from the pot standpoint, I might be small, the other one may be big, the other one can be tinier. But from a space standpoint, there is only one space. And that is me. And not only me, not only I am one, all these pots are within me. So that is the Advaita Dṛṣṭi. And not only that, there is no difference between Ishvara and me. Ishvara and me are one. The outside space and the space outside all the pots and the space inside this pot is one and the same. So Advaita Dṛṣṭi is everything is one and there is nothing separate from me. So that is what this sloka means. Yajñātva na punar moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanyasheshena drakṣasyatmanyato mahi. So this is the benefit. First benefit, Moha Nāśa. Now, two more slokas talking about two more benefits. But before that, are there any questions or comments or any discussion points?
Guruji, for me, right, personally for me, this is a very personal question, not really related to this chapter, but as somebody who is on this path, right, I do my listening, I do my, not too deep a reflection, but I do my reflection, I try to instill the karma yoga thing, but the interactions with the world and all of these things pull me in different directions. I seem to slip time and again, that the vasanas are pretty strong. So all of these things, so that creates a little bit of turbulence in the mind, on and off. There are times when it is going good. There are other times I am at it, but seem to slip. Then interactions with the world also you cannot continue. So this enlightening sentence, right? It is all one, it is all one. That retentivity is not there. That awareness, okay. So I think you get it, right? So
no, yeah, I mean it is not an overnight phenomena that we will get this knowledge overnight. But we need to keep coming back to this as and when we failed or we fall down. We just need to get up. We need to realize and come back to this. There will be multiple failures, but we'll have to continue in this path.
Is it like the upasana is a little short, right? So it's like, should I be questioned? Am I doing, like, in a analogy? Am I doing lip service to this? I mean, should I be thinking like that? Am I just doing lip service for the sake of doing it, or so is the upasana falling short?
There is when we are in this path, there will be innumerable failures in between, and not only that, we start questioning ourselves. We also start looking at others and say that people who have not in this path seem to be happier than what we are doing in this path. The problem is because we come to know that we are actually now we know what is right and what is wrong, and we have not been able to go into that right direction yet. For people who are ignorant about what is to be the right direction, they seems to be going in the wrong direction, but they still seem to be happy. That also kind of puts us back in terms of saying, am I doing this right thing? Should I be actually like them, the others as well? Now this is actually very common. What we have to understand is, yes, there will be, that is why one of the qualifications is titiksha. Titiksha is forbearance. Forbearance is basically whenever we go through any kind of failure, we'll have to pick ourselves up and then say, okay, it doesn't matter, I'm in the right path, I'll continue to go. It doesn't matter if it is, Bhagavān says, Abhyasa in 6th chapter, he gives an important one. Abhyasa is very important. In the sense, repetition. Whatever we need to do, we keep repeating the same thing again and again in terms of the sadhanas. over a period of time we will be able to do it. And we can actually see these benefits by certain things, like for example the famous thing that Swami Paramarthananda gives is FIR, how frequent I am actually falling, and how intense it is, and what is my recovery time. So if I am able to actually recover quickly, if I identify, okay, I have fallen down, now I have to get back to this path, that's fine. Do not beat yourself to say that, look, I have not made any progress in spite of actually listening to so many classes, and yet I am not able to progress much. Keep continuing it. The thing is, some of the things are concepts, and some of this should go into the deeper subconscious mind, that when we are actually trying to act, the subconscious mind comes in front of us and says, this is what you need to do. You should not get angry now, or you should hold back your words, or you should think of something else, or you should move away from that particular place. That happens if we continue to keep listening to it. If we continue to do karma yoga as a sadhana, the subconscious mind gets stronger and stronger, and we will be able to direct us better. Keep listening to Vedanta as much as possible. It will go into the subconscious mind, and it will try to direct us properly.
Okay, Hari Om, good.
Any other questions or points? Okay, if not, we'll see the next two slokas in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.